Okay, and welcome along to our new episode today on the 11th of the 12th. So not long to go to Christmas, and it's Get in the Habit with myself, David Finch, and Sue Allsworth. And we've
Yay.
got a special guest today. Sue, do you want to announce our special guest?
Today we have with us on International Christmas Jumper Day. We have Klaudia from, and I still love this. How are you feeling, Klaudia?
I'm feeling friggin' well. Do you?
Love it. That is brilliant.
So welcome, Klaudia.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to start this morning with you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for embracing the madness today. For those of you who are listening on podcast, do go over and watch this episode on my YouTube channel, Authentic Smile, because you won't get the full flavour of today's, because it is international. Is it Christmas Jumper Day or?
Yeah, it's Christmas Jumper Day today. Yeah, so it's the reason of our dress today. You know.
So, Dave, you are an elf.
Good for you, elf.
I am a Christmas tree, and Klaudia is just coming in. You've got a lovely Father Christmas, reindeer, snowmen, little top on. So we're really flavour of Christmas today.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about the summit, which happened last week and during the week. And also, Klaudia, I watched your presentation on the summit, which I thought was brilliant. And I've got a few questions for you as well. And we'd love you to tell our listeners who maybe didn't listen to the summit and didn't get involved with the summit about what you do, how you do things, and more about this mindful shower exercise that you come up with. And I think it's a brilliant thing. So maybe that's a good starting point. Tell us a little bit about your business, maybe a little bit about your background, and then about this being mindful in the shower.
Yeah, so actually my whole idea of getting more relaxed started almost the moment I moved to London, and I realized how insane fast this city is and how actually very exhausting is corporate environment. And everyone around me was going to some extra yoga classes, some aromatherapy sessions, some meditation classes, and so on and so forth. And for me, when I looked at them, it just was adding up to their to-do list rather than making them relaxed, as they were rushing out of the office to get to those classes to feel relaxed. And for me, it was kind of contradictory to what they were trying to achieve. And I didn't feel it. Like I needed some kind of solution to separate myself. I'm calling it separating yourself from the outside world. But those weren't the solutions for me. I didn't want to spend hours learning new skills or going to another exercises classes. So I started thinking what I'm doing every day that can be transformed into something more meaningful, into a habit. And I went back to all my books and go back to Google, thanks from my psychology and neurology degree. And I started coming up with some morning and evening routines that fit my lifestyle. And I came up with the method of doing mindful showers. And then very quickly I thought, I must not be the only one who needs this kind of solution. So I came up and that's how Frigginwell was born.
It's brilliant. I absolutely, I mean, I love the name. It's yeah, how you doing? Friggin' well, thank you.
Yeah, it was really important for me to have a name that was really modern and playful. So even though it was mindfulness, I really wanted to make sure it's for everyone and it's for very beginners level. You don't need to, I don't have this vision in mind that people will levitate in the air because they're practicing mindfulness in the shower. No, it's just very simple because methods don't need to be complicated to work. It's just for you to have this 5 minutes just for yourself to separate yourself a bit.
So, and I totally hear you. I think that's partly why the studio came about as well for me, because you're rushing home, you then rush out again, and by doing the studio it actually cuts out. People don't have to rush because you can come home, you haven't got to get back in your car, you can just log on, do the little half hour or an hour session, log off, you're back in, you know, you can even get your, I always say to people, if you're doing a meditation in the evening, come in your PJs, because I'm probably in them, sort of thing, because it's meant to be nighttime, getting us ready for that. And it saves that. And from our point of view, when you're doing something like that, you've got to get there early, set up, you know, and all of that, and then take it down. And so I totally hear you on that one. It just, and that's why the studio came. It was like, how can we cut down time, really, so that you're not having that sense of, I've got to be here, I've got to be there, I've got to be here, and you're rushing in the car, the traffic. Then if you've had that lovely moment of Zen moment in a session, then you get in the car, and then that's probably then ruined that Zen moment, sort of thing. So yeah, to go, I think personally a really good method would be to either have your mindful shower with Klaudia in the mornings and then go into a studio session, or to have your studio session in the evening and then go and have a mindful bath with Klaudia in the evening. I mean, it's a win-win, isn't it?
It's always win-win, because you need to adjust every method to yourself. I think it's so important that we don't take methods as they come to our lifestyle, because we are all living very different life. Some of us have 5 kids and they don't have even 5 minutes of their day, but maybe they can just close those doors for 3 minutes, you know. Some of us have very draining and very time-consuming jobs, and some of us might be on furlough and just need some time to self-connect and forget for a moment about the job search. And it's really important to take the method that is written or prepared for you, but really adjust it to where you are at this very moment in your life.
It's a good point that you mentioned there about the children, people who have children, because we was watching your presentation the other day on the Mind, Body and Soul Summit. As you said about, oh, you know, go into the bathroom, it gives you that 5 minutes, and you've got that. She went, my wife said, I bet she ain't got 3 or 4 kids running around.
Well, I can't say she's right. I don't have 5 kids running around. I don't even have 1 running around. But yeah, I think it's just, I don't know, but I totally have huge empathy for parents. And I think to keep you sane, guys, really it's important to find even those 3 minutes that you can be alone and not be touched by anyone as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
Would that be your advice there, Klaudia? Is that, say somebody has got, you know, 3 kids and their lifestyle is hectic because they're running around looking after the babies and the grown-up ones, and you know, all different ages, and it's chaos in their mind and in their life. So what's your advice to people like that? How can you give a couple of tips to people that have got that chaotic life?
Well, I'm afraid it will come back on me when I will have children if I give any advice here, you know. It's dangerous. What you're trying to make me do. What you're trying to make me do is very dangerous, and you want the parents to just come at me.
Love it.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? I think everyone's lifestyle, as I said, is very different. And it depends on you. But this life needs to be happy at the end of the day. You have beautiful family in your house. And to take the most out of it, I think you really need to be happy with yourself first and put yourself and the self-care first. So whatever it is you can do, if you can send your kids to your grandparent just once a month, maybe that's the way to do it. Maybe morning showers is not for you because kids wake up very early, but when they go to sleep, maybe evening mindfulness shower is for you, to get somewhere this self-connect and this self-care incorporated in your day. But it's your choice. You know the best what fits you and how do you want to change your life, because at the end of the day, I am not coming with the box to tell you how to do things, you know. It's your dedication and your motivation to incorporate the self-care habits into your lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you were on at the weekend just gone at the Release with Gratitude Summit. So how is your, because we had some lovely speakers and meditations that I have to say, I was really impressed because it was a smaller summit this time. I was actually able to enjoy it as a participant as well as running the things behind the scenes. But I was able to actually go in, and there was some lovely, in the afternoon, there was lovely, I just felt like I was in this bubble of gratitude meditation zone. But it's the first time you've done something like this. So how was your experience? And Dave, you were at the Gratitude Summit as well. So, and you,
well, I thought the morning was best, to be honest with you, Sue.
What? Sorry?
The morning was best, I think.
The morning, yeah, definitely. Was that when you?
Myself and Klaudia was on in the morning, so the morning was the best bit, definitely.
So, how was your experience for the summit, both of you?
Can't argue with David. Me and him both were in the morning, so sorry afternoon sessions. No, obviously it was all great, but for me the entire experience of getting in it was actually very beneficial, because I got so caught up myself in making this business work that I a bit forgot of where I started and why I started. And just preparing this workshop for me was kind of like catharsis moment. I was like, oh my God, how did I went from doing something so mindful to doing it so mindlessly, just, working on so many different bits of the business. It's just often you forget what it was supposed to be, what the goal was. And it really brought me back to basics. And it was so beautiful as a journey. And then hearing other speakers, and I feel you can see it in their eyes as well. They connected with what they were saying. And I think this is so beautiful, because that's how you believe in people's stories, if they tell it from their heart. And I definitely felt that through the entire day, that people spoke from their heart and from their experience. And that's what connects people.
Yeah, you're right there. Actually, what you said there, Klaudia, about remembering why you started the business, perhaps, and what was your goal, what was your visions initially. I do that quite regularly myself, because sometimes you can get caught up in the business of business, if that makes sense. Like running the business and being I want to do this, want to do that, want to do that, and sometimes you have to then take that step back and go, hang on, why did you do this in the first place? And I regularly kind of check myself and go, look, come on, Finchy, you weren't doing this to make millions of pounds. You was doing it to enjoy what you do, help people, and see them grow, and also give yourself a nice life, a very relaxing life, not to be business all the time. And of course, you have to have a balance. You have to run the business, but it's not up here, business all the time. Because when I get like that, I think, why am I doing this? Come back down again. Chill out.
I can totally resonate on that. In September, I lost my joy. I was plugging the summits and everything and got into that, and I lost my joy. And it was like, and then when I did the second summit, the first day was just me and another person, Jenny. I've mentioned her a few times. We just did a workshop day, just me and her. And it was like, oh my God, this was what I trained to do. This is where my joy is. And that's kind of how the studio came about, because it was like, well, how can I do lots of different groups, but I only want them all in one place, so that I haven't got to, like you say, get caught up in that business. I've got to plug this, plug that. You get so wrapped up in the marketing, and I'm not. If I wanted to go in that line of work, I would have studied that line of work. But you have to become everything when you've got your own business, even if it's not your. And you can get bogged down in certain aspects of the business side, as you say, that you forget, like you say, Klaudia, why you've done this and the beginnings of it. And yeah, the studio for me was like that. Starting the studio again was like, it reminded me of getting back to basics, doing the sessions, connecting with people, sharing with people. And we forget that, don't we, quite easily.
Yeah,
exactly. But also thanks to you, and actually thanks to writing this webinar, I started working on my first digital product, which will be launching in January, and it will be all about setting up your morning routines. So I'm going back to basics and really spreading this awareness of how to do it, and it will be kind of, I don't know how much I can tell you yet, but it will be
hot off the press.
Yeah, I would listen at first. Yeah, you have a first sneak peek. So it will be kind of like a challenge. It will take people who will take part in it day by day on making small mindful changes to your morning to create a routine at the end. So I think it will be very useful for me to go through this process again and just starting writing it and thinking about it. I was like, oh my god, this is what I needed as well to update my morning routine, because I got so caught up with my morning routine that it became automatic, and that's not the goal. To 3 breaths automatically, now go take a mindful shower. It's kind of like no. Going back to basics, we need to update this routine to make it mindful again.
Yeah, it's very, even with new habits, they then become ingrained habits after a while. And as you say, you have to go back and revisit sometimes to just jiggle things around, adjust things, because I'm not the same person as I was yesterday, neither of you two. Tomorrow we're going to be a different person all over again, sort of thing. So you do have to keep things fresh so that also you don't get bored with them, and you don't, as you say, I love that word, mindless. We can become very mindless in our habits. So yeah, it's good to so by doing the summits, and what I was asking of you for the summit, it has got you sort of going in this other direction as well. Or I'm just really pleased that the summits were there for the attendees to watch and gain. But I know that actually a lot of the speakers have gained so much from, I know I've pushed a lot of people out of their comfort zone, having to pre-record and use different ways of not just sitting there, maybe PowerPoint and different things. Everyone has a different creative sort of display of how they do it, and I try to leave that open and not put anything on that, because I want people to just, as the February summit is, be you. So yeah, I'm glad that I'm a little seed, or at least a little branch or a twig of your journey.
Yes, absolutely. It was just a great inspiration to also have people viewing it and asking questions, and I was just very excited to take them further than just this one webinar. So I think that was my big inspiration to, now they can go with me even further and even learn more and even do more. And I was like, I want to be there for that. I want to be the person who will guide them through it, or do it with them, more like it.
Yeah.
It is, we sometimes do have to go back and revisit. There's a phrase when you were saying that you're going to be doing what you need in your life. I always, quite often we teach what we need to learn ourselves. I brought the studio into effect because I knew I needed to get back in the habit myself, and because I'm in behind the scenes running the lives and that, whether I'm on screen or not, I'm there. So I'm going through the motions where the people can see me. So I use that, right? Well, okay, I'm going to settle into this one and listen to Jenny's meditation, and it's getting me back into the habit. And even if I turn up to a session and there is no one, I still put the meditation on that I'm running or whatever, because it's getting me into the habit, making me accountable. So yeah, we quite often end up teach what we need teach what we need to learn, don't we? I think
that's a good point about you getting out of your comfort zone there, Sue. And we spoke about people having habits before and getting out those comfort zones and having different habits and changing those habits. And for me, it was really getting out of my comfort zone to record a video. First of all, it's quite a learning curve, because I thought, oh, that's going to be easy enough. I'll just sit in front of my computer as we are now, really, and record. I've got a program that can do that. Then I found out that the colors was going funny and it looked horrible, and in the particular room that I was in, and it was a nightmare. And I ended up, the video that I actually recorded was done on my mobile phone using a tie clip mic, which is probably the most simplest way that you could record a video. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and I was trying to use all this different technology, are making hard work of using that technology. And it come down to, again, being very basic, straightforward, but it got a result. Just used my mobile phone on a little tripod, tie-clip microphone, spoke into the camera, transferred that, done a little bit of editing, and that was it, sent it to you. But sometimes we make hard work of things. I think it goes back to what we were saying, Klaudia, about this mindful shower, that we make hard work of things when really just keep it simple. Just take a shower, enjoy it, be in the moment.
Even if that shower is quick, you can still be mindful in that moment. So even if, say, your shower was, I mean, this would be the quickest shower ever, but if it was a minute, even, you're in, you're out, boom, 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 job done. But that's still a minute that you can mindfully, even if you have to do it quickly, you can mindfully do it quickly. You can mindfully do it. It's like you get to choose and be in that moment rather than on basically what autopilot, isn't it? You want to step out of autopilot.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that's also the goal with mindfulness shower sets, because they are promoting zero waste lifestyle, and therefore I'm encouraging people, and the mindfulness technique written for them is for 4 minutes shower maximum, to encourage people to save water and use products also that are inside the box that are aquatic water safe. They are zero waste, they are biodegradable, so they should only have an effect on you and not on the earth.
I love that.
Tell me more about that, because I'm a big passionate person about saving the planet. I seem to be doing it on my own, but I've just found someone else who also wants to save it. Well, in fact, you do as well, didn't you, Sue? Really, we're all kind of got that save the planet. How did you discover these products?
Yeah, I think it's really important to not caught up yourself to be responsible for everything. And people often say that companies should be responsible for tackling climate change. And there's some truth to it. Obviously, every one person has a huge impact on that, because every pound you spend, you're voting for the world you want to live in. And for me, setting up the business in August this year, it was absolutely unacceptable that it doesn't matter what kind of business I want to run. It has to be green in a current climate. I don't believe there is a space for new businesses who don't want to be green at this point. And I understand for big corporations that's been around for a long time, it's amazingly difficult to make changes to become sustainable businesses. But for new businesses to open it and not be sustainable, for me, it's absolutely unacceptable. So all the products inside mindfulness shower sets, so all the branding of Frigginwell, it's zero waste, plastic free, it's handmade by local makers, and as much as possible is made with locally in the UK made products as well. And my people who are making the products are screened to have renewable energy in their houses as well, which means we are totally, we don't produce any carbon footprint at all.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, that is really, I mean, that's something to buy into, isn't it, in a business? When you see that in a business and you think, wow, you really care. To me, that says you care.
Not only every single step of the process. Absolutely. Yeah. For me, there was no way I will compromise on any of those things. It was obvious those people who are producing things inside are as much close to me as well. So they are from Croydon area where I live, and to also support local economies and local handmakers. They all working from their own kitchens in their own houses. And that is just supporting someone else's dream as well.
Yeah. That is such an admirable thing to do, that you see someone and they kind of create a business, like you say, only in August, but right from the outset, you went, right, it's got to be this, and this. I've got to have local people, providing good stuff that's sustainable and so on. And that is really, really good. And I think other companies should take a leaf from your book and say, well, how can we do that? Honestly, yeah, I really do. you know?
No, it's not easy, but if anyone who is listening wants to open green business, there are so many Facebook pages when we all support one another, or where to get the sustainable things, where to find UK manufacturers, UK products, to make sure we're not shipping from China. We're really supporting local economies here where we live.
Yeah. And our listeners would have, and our viewers would have heard me say this before, and we've said this numerous times. It's about what could you do. So, you know, you say, oh, big companies, they can't do it. My answer to that would be, what could you do? You know, how much paper waste do you have? How much soaps are you using in the bathrooms that you could change to be different soaps? Do you know what I mean? What could you do? And if you could reduce that just by a certain percentage, just by changing those things, then look at the next level. What could you do after that? So for me, it's like, don't make excuses. What could you do?
Absolutely. The first
soapbox now. Hang on.
Exactly. The first step is just to use everything you have to the last possible drop, piece, everything you have. When you have still toothpaste in a tube, cut it in half, take everything out. Don't waste the products, because they made massive difference. And then when you finish those products, start looking for more sustainable solutions. Maybe you will find something that actually will work really good on you.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, we're coming towards the end of our time, our podcast time. We set our own time limit. I'm sinking down in this chair again. I'm gonna have to get another chair. Father Christmas, bring me another chair.
Time for the podcast to finish. That's the.
It is. It's a timer chair. That's what it is. I set it at the start of the podcast, and when we know it's the end, the chair starts to go like this.
That is absolutely a brilliant idea, Dave. We just chatter away. You know, I pay no attention to the time. That's down to you. And it's just like, yeah, as soon as I sort of start seeing you sinking, it's like, oh yeah, so that's the time to wrap things up. I like it. There's a new invention.
Yeah, we'll have to go with that theme song that we said, I've got that sinking feeling. Oh dear. Klaudia, it's been lovely talking to you today and finding out more, because when you were on the summit, you know, I wanted to sort of chat with you, but of course it was all on the screen, and you know, we couldn't interact as we are today. It's been really lovely talking to you today. Thanks for coming onto our podcast and on our YouTube channel.
And thanks for getting in the Christmas spirit.
Yeah. Of course, always. I'm all about Christmas. Thank you so much for having me here. And for all the listeners who want to find me, you just need to put either Frigginwell on your Instagram. It's quite easy to find with this name. Or go to frigginwell.com website to see more about my mindful showers.
Absolutely.
Well, it's been Frigginwell having you great here today, you know, so yeah, you know.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Klaudia. Thanks, everyone. Take care until the next time.
Yeah.
This is Sue from Authentic Smile and Mind, Body, Soul Summit signing out. And Dave, are you signing out today as well?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to go and help Father Christmas because I've got my elf outfit on. So I'm going to go and help Father Christmas today.
Yeah, I've got to go and do some standing so that presents can be left under me.
Yeah. Oh dear. Have a lovely Christmas, everyone. See you all soon. Christmas jumper day. See you all soon. Over and out.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.